Have you ever stopped to consider how the delicate balance of a champion dynasty might shatter or reinvent itself overnight? What if the very core of what we thought was Golden State's identity is on the verge of turning the familiar into something so bold and unpredictable that it could either spark another golden reign or plunge Dub Nation into uneasy silence? These are not idle questions. They are the restless whispers echoing through locker rooms, executive suites, and the fervent corners of social media. Welcome back, Warriors fans, to the Warriors News Fan Report. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss a second of this saga that's about to redefine everything we thought we knew about Golden State's future. Because, folks, there's a storm brewing, and it might just carry one of the NBA's most dynamic and devastating talents right into Chase Center's lineup. Imagine a scenario where the Warriors, a team famously built on splashy long-range barrages and lockdown defense engineered by Steve Kerr's philosophy, suddenly pivot to reinforce their paint presence with a game-changing force. Could this mean the organization is seriously considering a seismic trade involving a prized young star from Memphis, a player whose name alone sends defensive shudders through rival lineups? Some insiders whisper that the Warriors have set their sights on none other than Jaren Jackson Jr., a 25-year-old forward center hybrid who captured the Defensive Player of the Year award just last year. A player who, in the 2023-24 season, averaged 20 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 1 point to steals per game, while knocking down 37.5% of his threes on modern big. With a lethal combination of range and rim protection, is it possible that Golden State's brass, recognizing the ticking clock on the careers of legends like Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, both well into their mid-30s, is now eyeing a bold win-now move that pushes them aggressively toward one last title run? It's a tantalizing prospect, especially when you consider the seismic shift shaking Memphis, where the unexpected trade of Desmond Bane to Orlando sent shockwaves through the league. The move opened a Pandora's box of questions about their roster direction, possibly signaling they're willing to offer Jackson in a blockbuster deal. The Warriors reportedly are ready to go all in, willing to put Jonathan Kuminga, one of their brightest young talents, on the table, along with Moses Moody and potentially not one, not two, but 3 future first-round draft picks spanning 2026, 2029, and even 2031. This isn't just a trade proposal, it's a declaration of urgency. A bet that adding a defensive anchor with sharpshooting potential in Jackson could tilt the next title race heavily in Golden State's favor. But the drama digs even deeper. Think about Draymond Green's relentless defensive IQ. Combined with Jackson's shot blocking and perimeter stretch game, could this frontcourt duo form a new kind of wall, a nightmare for opposing offenses trying to penetrate or chase shooters? Throw in Stephen Curry's ongoing wizardry from beyond the arc. He shot around 40.8% on threes last season, still mesmerizing defenses with his gravity and finishes, and you have a framework that could rewrite the Warriors' championship blueprint. Yet, there's hesitance too. Kuminga's breakout performances in the playoffs stirred hope of a long-term foundation for the franchise's future. So, what does it say about Golden State's internal debate, hanging on to youthful promise, or sacrificing it for the immediate shot at glory? The front office, led by Bob Myers and the coaching mind of Steve Kerr, has reportedly been weighing these tough questions, balancing the reverence for their seasoned core with the cold reality that windows close faster than we want to admit. Across social media, Dub Nation is ablaze. Threads speculate wildly: is Jaren Jackson Jr. the missing piece to finally stop a juggernaut like Denver or Milwaukee? Some fans envision laments reminiscent of the early 2000s dynasty shifts, the anxiety of letting go of homegrown talent for a star polished elsewhere. Others are hyped, tweeting imagined scenarios where Jackson's mid-range and deep threes stretch the floor beyond what even the Splash Brothers dared, while his defensive tenacity adds a new level of intimidation. An inside source, whispered to Warriors News Fan Report, hinted, if the front office pulls this off, it's not just a trade, it's a statement that the Warriors are all in, not just chasing, but refusing to let the crown slip. And what about Klay Thompson, a stalwart whose return ignited hopes of another dynasty run? Where does he fit into this chessboard if Golden State begins reshuffling its roster? The whispers are that while the Warriors honor their core, there's a sense of shared urgency, of feeling that these next moves must be bold and unflinching if they want to stave off the aging clock and rising competition. So here we are, At the crossroads of history and destiny, the prospect of Jaren Jackson Jr. in a Warriors uniform isn't just basketball speculation, it's a seismic shift that could rewrite the narrative of the reigning splash era, inject new adrenaline into a franchise hungry for another championship, and redefine what it means to be a Golden State Warrior in 2024 and beyond. But what do you think about all of this? Is Golden State bold enough to gamble their future on a blockbuster move that could either fuel another title or leave them scrambling for answers? Personally, as a ride-or-die member of Dub Nation, I believe that this kind of fearless maneuver is exactly what the Warriors need to remind the league why they're the team to beat. The marriage of Curry's genius, Green's grit, and Jackson's defensive dominance could be the perfect storm we've been waiting for. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. If you're feeling the electric surge of possibility coursing through your veins right now, then don't just sit there, smash that like button, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and ring the meltdown bell so you never miss a heartbeat of this unfolding epic in blue and gold. Because what we're staring down here isn't just a roster tweak or a flashy headline. It's a seismic tremor that could ravel the very foundation of the Western Conference. Imagine the ripples crashing through the NBA landscape if Golden State pulls off this blockbuster. Jaren Jackson Jr. anchoring the paint in the heart of the Bay, standing alongside Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Drew Wiggins, and the young charge of Kuminga, Moody, and Podziemski, all jostling for minutes, roles, and the chance to etch their names in championship lore. Curry's trajectory is already the stuff of legend, the greatest shooter in league history, with career averages hovering around 28 points per game, an astonishing 43% from beyond the arc, and a gravity that corrupts defenses every time he touches the rock. But adding Jackson, a protective fortress who swats away shots with the aggression of a rabid beast and stretches defenses with his 37.5% three-point shooting, would reshape Golden State's DNA. Suddenly, the Warriors' offense explodes from the perimeter inward, while the defense tightens in the paint, crafting a dual threat that makes their lineup not just splashy, but suffocating. Draymond, the cerebral defensive anchor, morphs into a co-general alongside Jackson, a dynamic duo that would intimidate even the most potent offenses in the league. Picture the matchup nightmares for this team. Curry's lightning strikes from deep, Wiggins' lockdown perimeter defense and athleticism, Poole's relentless scoring bursts. He's been averaging a career-best 20 points this season, and then Jackson's rim protection with a sniper shooting touch from the corners. Every pick and roll would become a chess match where opponents hesitate to attack the basket, knowing that Jackson's wingspan can deter drives and that Green's anticipation will feast on every potential miss. But now, let's turn the kaleidoscope and peer inside the hothouse of competition that will ignite the chase. Center hardwood, the young guns Podziemski, Kuminga, Moody, each fighting tooth and nail for minutes. What does this do to their development? Kuminga's electrifying breakout playoff moments had us all buzzing about a new cornerstone, a pillar to build a future on once the curtains fall on the Curry Green era. To imagine packaging him as a centerpiece in this deal feels almost sacrilegious to some fans. A heart-wrenching gamble that trades promise for immediacy, yet the Warriors front office knows the brutal truth. Time is merciless, and the ticking clock on their window demands bold strokes over slow growth. The reality is, you don't get 5 titles in 8 years without thinking fast, moving faster, and striking with surgical precision. This isn't just about hoarding young talent. It's about positioning this squad to uphold their throne atop the West. This is the balancing act, sacrificing some youthful flair and future assets now to guarantee the firepower and defense to crush elite adversaries like Denver's juggernaut Nikola Jokic and Phoenix's evolving dynasty starring Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. The Suns' recent additions, the mile-high monsters in Denver bolstering around Jokic's incredible versatility, and the blockbuster trades unfolding in Los Angeles with LeBron and AD hunting elusive titles. The landscape is ruthless, unrelenting. Warriors Nation whispers and roars alike, dissecting every stat line, every rumor like it's gospel. Curry's 40.8% from 3 last season. Wiggins' impact is a two-way secret weapon. His plus 5-point to defensive rating on the floor speaks volumes. And Poole's explosion to a 24-point scoring threat on some nights. These are not just numbers. They're chapters in the ongoing saga of a team stubbornly clawing their way back to the top. Layer in the dynasty-defining moments that built the franchise's DNA. The improbable we believe run that made the Bay Area roar, the dominant strength in numbers mantra during the first 3 championships, and the grit of the comeback in 2022 after facing injuries and adversity. Now, fast forward to today, the Warriors brass are navigating an exacting crossroads, dissecting the trade market with the ruthless precision of a sniper, weighing the intangible locker room chemistry versus the cold, hard stats on Jackson's stat sheet. Shamsurania hints at an open door for this negotiation. Voice streams whispers like wildfire about front offices locked in war rooms, scribbling frantic figures day and night. Even Andre Iguodala, a beloved figure still connected to the team's pulse, is rumored to have voiced cautious support for a move that honors the past but propels the team into a new era. The lore surrounding the Warriors is not just built on talent, but heart, intelligence, and unrelenting competitiveness that echoes from the bars and streets of Telegraph Avenue back to the hallowed Chase Center, where every swish of a Curry three-pointer reverberates like a shot fired across the Bay Bridge, a sonic boom that wakes the city and reminds every fan that this team is never done fighting. The prospect of adding Jaren, the modern big who can switch, protect the rim, and shoot, cannot be overstated in potential impact. It tilts the competitive scales in Golden State's favor against high-octane offenses throughout the West, answering perennial questions about post-defense and second-half adjustments that haunted them late in playoff runs past. This is not just a depth move. It signifies a philosophical shift, moving away from splash-heavy lineups toward a hybrid model that mirrors the league's evolution. Yet here lies the tension. How will Steve Kerr manage this constellation of stars and hungry youngsters? Can he forge the chemistry where minutes fade and egos flare? Will Draymond adjust to sharing the defensive mantle? Or will his role morph into an orchestrator more than warrior, more mentor than enforcer? How will the young core harness this challenge, respond to compressed opportunities, and find themselves in the shadow of historic veterans armed with new energy? These questions form the heartbeat of the suspenseful, unfolding drama, questions that illuminate the razor's edge between dynastic resurgence and costly overreach. Beyond the hardwood, imagine the cultural renaissance this move could spark. Across the Bay, community outreach events led by both Kerr and Jackson, youth clinics where tomorrow's Warriors learn the art of defense and the science of shooting, and local campaigns that unite fans under a banner of reinvention and hope. Picture billboards along Market Street heralding a new era in blue and gold, and social media campaigns flooding feeds with hype videos set to pulse-bounding beats that capture the electricity this edition would bring. The energy would transcend basketball. It would become a movement, a statement that this franchise adapts, evolves, and refuses to fade into history. And yet, as the rumor mill churns, rival executives are sharpening their pencils, gauging how to counter this potential Dubs juggernaut. In Phoenix, Monty Williams might draw up zonal traps to slow down Curry and force the ball into Jackson's hands, testing his playmaking under pressure. In Denver, Mike Malone could deploy a dual-guard backcourt rotation designed to exploit any hesitation in Golden State's defensive shifts. In Los Angeles, Darvin Ham might unleash a lineup of stifling wing defenders to shadow Curry from baseline to backcourt, daring him to create offense without his usual floor spacers. The chess pieces are in motion, and every opponent knows if this trade happens, the West's balance of power will tilt dramatically. As the clock winds down toward the trade deadline, the air hums with anticipation. Will Golden State strike with the boldness that defined their greatest championship runs? Or will they hesitate at the precipice of history, opting for continuity over the calculated risk that could vault them into a new dynasty era? The answer will echo in every swish, every block, every rally cry that erupts from the Chase Center faithful. Dub Nation, the next chapter isn't just a page, it's a blank canvas. Will it be painted with the strokes of another title, or will it be marked by what could have been regret? Personally, as a ride-or-die member of Dub Nation who's lived through every high and low, I believe the seismic gambit infusing Jaren Jackson Jr. into the heart of our identity could be the spark that ignites a golden inferno, one that shreds complacency, annihilates doubt, and reasserts our rightful place atop the NBA summit. So if this vision sets your soul ablaze, if you feel that magnetic pull toward greatness, then hammer that like button, unleash your raw, unfiltered takes in the comments, and stay locked to Warriors News Fan Report for every break, rumor, and highlight that will define the journey ahead. Dub Nation, our saga is far from over. Let's write the next epic in the stars and splash it forever in the Bay.